Hi guys, on this channel I'm going to be making simple rubber band related projects such as rubber band powered cars, maybe boats, maybe even aeroplanes. But we're going to start off with some simple rubber band powered cars from basic items you'll find around the house. So to start off with, I've got this, which is a plastic container, empty, that we're going to drill a couple of holes in, attach a rubber band. I think we'll use barbecue skewers as the axles and CDs as the wheels. So a fairly standard rubber band powered car made from junk items or scrap items. It would be nice to use the top as a wheel, but I've only got one of these, so we'll be using CDs instead. I've got lots of rubber band powered cars on my main channel, but what I'm looking at is doing what do we call this? A spin-off channel, which will just focus on rubber band powered items. So we'll get to work on this. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is get this label off it, but it's not coming off easily, so we're just going to leave it, I think. So the next thing we need to do is mark where we want to put the holes for the axles. Now at the bottom here there is a nice line going across there, which we can use as a reference. And then we want to draw a line right the way along so we can get the same position front and back. In fact, looking at this, there's even a seam from the moulding, so we don't need to draw a line front to back. We can just use that seam because that's the same seam all the way along. We're going to need 4 CDs or DVDs. These are just scrap ones. We're going to need 8 plastic bottle tops. These are off our milk bottles and they just happen to have a dimple in the middle that helps you tell exactly where the centre of the milk bottle top is. Going to need some barbecue skewers or bamboo skewers as they call them here. It's worth checking to see if they're reasonably straight, because if they're bent like this one then they're not going to be a lot of good to you. So you might need to search through a pack and try and find the straightest ones. And the thicker ones are usually a bit stronger as well. Doesn't matter if they're a little bit bent, but if they're as bad as that one, they're going to be no use to you at all. So I use those 2. Now, first problem with a CD is it's got a big hole in the middle. And if you want to use one of these as an axle, then you're a bit stuck, because it's not going to work. I like to use these plastic bottle tops as hubs. And you can either use sticky tape to put them in place, or hot glue, or various other types of glue. But hot glue is a nice quick option. And if they're like this, these CDs with a circle round there already, these particular bottle tops are just about the right size, so you can line them up fairly easily. So I would glue them on first, and then you need a sharp pointy item. Sometimes you can actually use the barbecue skewer itself to push a hole through, like that. And sometimes you need something a bit firmer to push the hole through. And you want that hole to be a tight fit, otherwise it's going to spin the wheels are going to spin without the axle spinning, or the other way around, the axle will spin and the wheel won't spin. So it's got to be a good tight fit. You can put glue on it to make sure it stays in place. So we'll make up the wheels, and we need to drill some holes in here. Now this is going to be the front and this is going to be the back. That's so that you can actually get to the axle easily to wrap the rubber band around it. So you need a hole there. I'm using that seam that I was on about to judge where the hole is. And that hole's got to be a very loose fit on your axle, so you're going to have to open that out. You can either use an electric drill, you can heat up some sort of metal and melt a hole through, or you can just work through it with a pointy item like that. Now at the back end we need to do the same thing. You need to make sure that they're parallel, front and back, otherwise the car's going to go left or right. So you need to measure from the end to there, and the distance from there to there has got to be the same as on the other side, there to there, or they won't be straight. I'm using that line round there to judge. So say we've got to make those holes bigger, otherwise those aren't going to spin at all. One problem you might find when you're doing this is the plastic might split. That's why using some hot item that melts it, that actually stops it splitting. You could probably use a pencil for this. Well, I'll work on that to make sure the hole's big enough to make it loose. Right, I've opened those holes out so they're in a nice loose fit now. Now, we need to glue these on here. So I'll use my hot glue gun because that's quick and easy. Okay, that's one done. And just to demonstrate, so in some cases these are soft enough that you can actually push straight through. And the more accurately you do it, the better it will spin. I've gone a little bit offline there. Not too bad. To make these look pretty, I just happen to have some sticky back vinyl. This is red, red metallic. So I'm going to cut out some circles and stick them on the wheels. That should make them look a bit prettier. We'll add some pretty coloured gold paper as well, sticky back paper. So I've covered this over. That hides the writing from the original packaging. So we've got our holes for our axles to go through. We've got our wheels. What we haven't got at the moment is somewhere to attach the rubber band at the front. So I'm going to push a hole through there and a hole through there, and we should be able to loop the rubber band through, and that'll hold it in place. Because next thing we need is some rubber bands, isn't it? Got some rubber bands. We need enough to go from the front to the back. So we need to join some together. Now, you can do that, or push one through and then push it through its own loop. So that's two joined together, or three joined together in total. That's probably enough. And then we need to get it through there. Now, several ways to do that. Just push that through there. You've got to get hold of it. And you need to push the other one through there. And then you need to push one through the other. So you've got them tied together. The thing is, it's white against white, and you probably can't see what I've done. But that will hold it in place. I wonder if I can just demonstrate that. If we imagine that's that piece, gone round it there and push that down through there like that. And that's joined it up there. Now, I haven't made all the holes yet in the wheels. Need to make sure you've got a little bit of a gap. And then we need to reach inside, get the rubber band. Right, and then if you just lay it over the top and then start winding it up, if you get it to lay over itself, it'll hold itself in place while you wind it up. Now obviously you can trim these off. You might find it handy to have a bit sticking out just so you can get hold of it to wind it up. The other thing you can do is if you cut a bit off, you could use hot glue and glue it onto there in a T shape, and then that makes it easier just to hook the rubber band onto the little stick sticking up. So I might do that just for demonstration. I'll cut a bit off the end here and glue it on there in a T shape.